the bottom of my heart for everyone attending Harold's, AKA Hal. I am his sister. I'm the only one that calls him Harold. To this day, I just can't get used to Hal. So, but I did put AKA Hal. And his memorial service today in honor of his passing. I know he's smiling with happiness. Actually, I can visualize his smirk. I'm sure everybody knows that smirk that he has, because my son, Scott, has the same smirk. So when my son smirks, I go, oh, well, there is my brother. So what I want to tell you, I know you know how now and in the present, you know all of you, but I want to tell you how Harold, as a child, became a pharmacist and how he became a golfer. So I'm going to give you a brief overview on who is Hal Keller. Hal gets interested in pharmacy. When we lived in San Francisco, my parents bought him a chemistry set, and then the mixtures started. Oh my gosh. We lived in the Sunset area, or is known as the Avenues. I don't know if anybody is acquainted in San Francisco, but it was out what they call the Sunset area. And, wait, I'm sorry. And these homes all had alcoves in them. I should really read it and stating it. And they all had alcoves in them. So my brother, needless to say, Harold was mischievous like every young man teenager. I'm not sure whether, I guess girls are too. And like any kid growing up. So those stink bombs were created, and off he went to see how many of those would explode in the alcoves. Needless to say, we know what happened to that chemistry set. It was taken away. But I have to say this, I can write it down. When we moved from San Francisco to LA, all the neighbors missed him because they said, we remember Hal doing those stink bombs in our alcove. So it was remembered. We're going to miss him. So the next adventure was, he was off after the chemistry set disappeared. The next adventure was off to the Golden State Park. We lived very close to it, to fly fish. I found a picture of us posing with the string of fish hanging in front of me, in front of our driveway, and this is what reminded me of the fishing. When we moved to LA in the early 50s, Harold found a fly fishing pond located at Rancho Park. Is everybody familiar with Rancho Park? Mm-hmm. It's a big golfing. It's a park, but it has a golf course there. Now the young teenager found another love, golf. He started to caddy on one shoulder, and then within a couple months he was caddying on both shoulders. When he was officially able to be hired at 16, he worked at the driving range selling buckets of balls. But my quirky brother enjoyed being caged up to go out and collect the balls on the range. His sense of humor was, which we all know he had that quirky sense of humor, was to try to get hit by each ball while he was in the cage. This was his joy. I remember him saying that. Oh, did I love going out there. And I could see him laughing again. He enjoyed every moment of that. As I'm sure you know, he was on the Beverly Hills High School golf team. Is anybody aware of that? Yeah, he was on the golf team, and I think he was on the USC team too. Mike, did he ever say anything to you?
High school team, not the college team.
Huh?
He was on the high school team, but not on the college.
Oh, not on the college. Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't remember anymore. So, so he was on the golf team, but did you also know that he played the trombone and marched in the band at high high school. If I recall, he was the band leader too, but that's pushing my memory. Mike Paul, I enjoyed each moment of the video you made. Wonderful memories. One note that you mentioned, he was a good putter. Hopefully he was. As kids, we putted down the hallway in our house to the living room. To the metal catcher, is that the metal, I didn't know what, is that called, the metal catcher? Right, to the metal catcher. I must say, the last time I played golf, which was a while ago, but I still had a good eye for putting. So watch out, everybody. I might go and play golf again. In closing, I was personally blessed to be his princess sister. Scott was blessed to have been Scott and I were blessed, Scott was blessed to have been motivated or mentored by a caring uncle. He made sure the both of us walked the right paths to success. Family is forever in our hearts. Harold, may you rest in peace. And at this time, what I would like to ask before we start the service, is anybody would like to get up and just tell one little moment and one special moment that you remember or recall with Harold that I would love to hear personally.
I think I'll go first.
I feel wonderful. And does everybody know Phil has been with my brother since he was 19 years old?
When he had hair. So one of the, Hal was a great guy, so he was good.
Member at Morgan Run now, but for a long time he was a member down at Stardust in Mission Valley before it became Riverwalk. And at that time they had 3 nines there, and there were a lot of people who were wealthy and sports oriented. Phil Nicholson was a friend of his, and used to obviously hang out down there. Was a very good player. But one of the things that happened there is that a lot of the members used to like to play gin inside the clubhouse, and he would go down a hallway to where the room was where they would do that. But also, quite a few of the people were into gambling, and it wasn't allowed to have happen. But they ran a little bookie operation out of the pro shop there. So I saw Hal at the holiday season once. He told me a story that the FBI got a tip that there was a bookie operation going on at Stardust.
Oh my God.
So they were going to do a raid and see if they could arrest everyone who was involved. So the people who were the big gamblers were playing gin, and one of the pros had all the little betting slips, and he was keeping them in the cash register. So when they broke in, they went to the room where all the people were, and they said, no, we didn't do anything at all. And they got the word out that the FBI had busted this other room, and they were going to go to the front. And if they were to go into the cash register and they found the betting slips, then everybody had their name on it, and everybody would be in big trouble. So when the FBI got there, they immediately went through and they found no betting slips. Nobody got in any trouble of any kind. And it turns out that when they were coming up the thing, the pro took all the betting slips and ate them. So he was just finished chewing them up when that happened.
Oh my God.
And they said, well, what happened? How did you do it? He said, he's got it in there. And that guy made $24,000 in tips over the holiday that year because everybody was so happy that they did not get indicted by the FBI. So
Great story.
everybody got along pretty well at Stardust. He had a lot of good friends, and he loved going out, finding a friend, having a game with them, and there was a lot of camaraderie. And the FBI didn't have to break that up. That was so.
I've never heard that story.
It's an interesting story.
That is an interesting. I know when Scott and I would come down to the club, Scott would go golfing with Harold, and then I would go off shopping, and then I would come back like about 5:30, 6 o'clock for dinner, and I said, well, where are they? He said, oh, Harold and your son are still playing golf. Mm-hmm. We'll have dinner. You should probably plan on dinner about 8 o'clock. I said, okay, we're good. So, and that's what I remember about the club. And I used to, actually, when I came down, I used to stay in their hotel.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, he's just
For all these years, he gave me a job when I was just starting off being an adult. And he started me off by just doing little things around the office, and then I became full-time, and it was supposed to be temporary, but Hal, as a boss, was different from any other boss I've ever heard of. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with different bosses. I've been there for 18, almost 19 years. So, but he had flexibility. He had understanding for a man who had never had children, never had a wife. You know, he understood when we had to leave to go take our kids, you know, to the doctors or go to school appointments. When I was growing up, my mom didn't miss a single one of my performances. I was a child.
She worked in the pro shop, and Susie said that Hal had been talking to her about some things at work, and he was like, just look at hiring somebody. So I desperately needed a job at the time, put food on the table, and I showed up, and I knew nothing about pharmaceuticals, nothing at all. All I'd ever done was bookkeeping, and I didn't know what I was getting into.
Something to do with golf.
Of course.
I want to thank Hal. He taught me more about golf than I realized. Probably didn't realize until most recently. Because he was always working on something. He would come to the golf course and he'd be working on his grip or he'd be working on something about his swing. To be candid, but he always was working on something.
Right.
And when I first started playing with Hal and Mike Paul and the others that are on here, I was just swinging from for the fences and never knew exactly where it was going to go. But he taught me you have to pay attention and you have to work on things. So I took a bunch of and now when I think about working on something, I will always think about it. Thank you, Hal.
And Mike?
I got so many memories about Hal. I don't even know where to start. We played golf every Saturday for 25 years.
Oh my gosh.
Every year I have a Masters Sunday party at my house. Hal never missed. I've been doing that, I think, 20 years. He never, via, what do you call it, our RSVP, the invitation. I make these nice invitations, send them all out to my about 10 or 12 buddies. Maybe 8 or 9 are alive now. I'd always RSVP, never Hal. Until the night before, Saturday night, like midnight, I'd get an email, I'll be there tomorrow. And he'd show up with a bottle of wine. I still got 3 or 4 bottles of wine Hal's given me over the years.
Did he bring Drambuie? That was his favorite.
No, he brought wine.
Oh, he loved
Always
Drambuie.
wine.
Oh, that's interesting.
We took him to Hawaii. Another buddy of mine, Dennis, who was Lynn's legal partner. The 3 of us went to Hawaii on a golf trip I put together on his 60th birthday, you said, right? 15 years ago.
I remember he went with the Coeur d'Alene, and
He go to Coeur d'Alene with me too?
yeah, he did go there. So
Forgot about that one. But Hawaii,
And I think maybe Oregon once.
I took my video camera to Hawaii. I make all these golf videos. I passed out some today, you'll see. When we arrived in Honolulu, Hal and Dennis and I, he's in the lobby sitting down. I give him the microphone and the camera. He fabricates an entire 10-minute story of the golf match between me and Dennis the next day. The tee shot's 252 and Dennis hit the ball 253. So Mike balls up next, hits a 7-iron, fades it in there, bounces right in the bunker. He did this for 10 minutes. It was funny. Hal was a character.
He was, even as a kid.
We first met him at Stardust in the mid-'80s.
Oh, okay.
He was walking down the first fairway with a 5-iron only. He'd go down there after work and just putter around by himself, walking. John and I would see him, say, you want to play along? He said, yeah, sure, why not? And he did a lot. We played a lot of golf together.
From the moment I remember he was 13.